Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to go through some recent news from Microsoft Power BI, the updates blog, and that sort of thing. Not every article, just ones that I've wanted to talk about, basically. So let's go ahead and get started here. And, this is something a little different, but if you like this, maybe I'll do more of these in the future. Okay, so the first one is deprecation of metric sets in Power BI. Now, if you don't know what metric sets were a big fanfare around September 2024, I think, is when they first announced them. And then they announced them again in November of 2024. And so they're like, it's a transformative new feature designed to redefine how organizations manage and consume metrics. This is from the September 2024 release. You can see all this, look at all this information about it, right? And then and then in November 2024, again, the public preview of metric sets officially available. Transformative new feature designed to redefine how organizations manage and consume metrics. It's dead, right? So they killed it. It never got out of preview. So again, for the umpteenth time, people, do not use preview features in Power BI and Fabric. Just don't do it, right? Because there's no guarantee that they even make it to GA, right? Microsoft is fully within their rights to just pull them and say, nope, that was a stupid idea, and we're not going to do that, right? So just stay away from preview features, people. And people that tell you to use preview features in production, fire those people, okay? They're giving you bad advice, all right? Do not use preview features in production. That's just should be common sense, okay? All right, so on to the next one. Empowering our customers to shape the future of data connectivity in Power BI and Microsoft Fabric. So you actually have to read through the comments on this to actually get to like the important part of this. They are doing away with the connector certification program. So third-party connector certification program, that's gone now. Okay, so third parties no longer are going to be developing the connectors, and then you'll go through certification within the Power BI team or the Fabric team or whatever. And I really don't quite understand this one, to be honest. And they're telling you to go to Fabric Ideas, and that's where ideas go to die, in my opinion. But sure, yeah, submit your ideas for the new connectors in the ideas site, whatever. That doesn't matter a hill of beans, like how many votes they are or anything else. But inside, I don't understand because Microsoft has developed their own connectors, right, for third parties. Like some of them have been developed by Microsoft, from what I can tell. They aren't always just third-party connector driven and then get certified. So I'm not sure why the change in this one. It's kind of interesting. I don't know why they can't do both. Why can't Microsoft start, driving the connector development, right, and also have the third-party connectors? So I don't know. I mean, the third-party connectors is always there's always a ton of connectors coming out for every month for Power BI desktop. So I don't know why they would kind of mess with that, but it'll be interesting to watch whether or not connector development slows down or speeds up or stays the same, right? So this one's something I'm going to watch pretty closely just to see if all of a sudden like the connector development just tanks, right? Okay, well that was a dumb idea, but here we go. I mean that's supposedly, I mean, they're spinning this like you're going to have control over which connectors get developed next. You don't, okay? You might as well just throw your votes away, on the idea site, right? Doesn't matter, right? So anyway, that one. The next one here, deprecation announcement, another deprecation announcement, Office Online Server. Now, if you don't know what this is, a pretty old product that they came out with, and it was an on-premises server that allowed you to serve up Word documents, Excel documents, Office documents, in a web browser, essentially. So on premise, right? And so that's going away. Now, at least they're giving you like a timeline for this, like effective December 31st, 2026. Like the metrics one, deprecation metric sets, literally they announced it October 6th. You can't create any new ones already, like less than a month, right? And just a bit over a month, they're just full retirement and metric sets are dead, right? Again, they're preview features, so they're well within their rights to do it. But that's why you don't use preview features. So an Office Online Server, I mean, this really mostly affects, I think, SQL Server reporting services on-premises users. So not a huge deal. They give you quite a bit of a ramp, but it's this is Microsoft pushing people to the cloud, right? They want to deprecate as much on-premises stuff as possible. So So I guess if you're required to keep all your data and everything on premises, you're going to lose this functionality, which is sad. But it is a pretty old product, and it's been around for a while. And there's probably some other solutions out there that you can take advantage of. The switch to Microsoft 365 Excel, right? Or move to the Power BI service. But again, these are all cloud-based solutions. I don't know what a on-premises solution would be other than put the Excel files out in a file share and have people open them up that way. I don't know, but not definitely not through a web browser and the licensing and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, this is the official announcement here. What does end of support mean? When is it happening? But hopefully there will be some kind of decent, I think, decent solution because of the amount of time that's in required, that they're giving this, and they're not giving you just over a month. They're giving you a full year or so in order to prepare for this. So that's good. Next one, preparing for the general availability of new card visual. Now this one is, again, don't use preview features. And people that promote using preview features in production, you should not listen to those people. Those people are giving you bad advice, right? I've seen this around UDFs, right? There are people out there like, oh, you should start using UDFs immediately, like in production, enterprise production, like reports and that. No, don't do that, right? Fire those people that are telling you that. They're giving you bad advice, right? Because what's going to happen is that it's either never going to make it to GA or it's going to break, because that's exactly what's happening here. So they redid the rendering engine completely, right? And hopefully that's a good thing, because when I tested the new card visual, it was dog slow, right? It was like the second or third slowest visual. In fact, you could have 15 card visuals and it was still faster than using the new card visual with 15 measures in it, right? You had to go to 16 in order for it to be faster. And that's saying something, right? Because those visuals are loaded sequentially. Okay, so it could sequentially load 15 card visuals before it loaded just one new card visual, right? That's pathetic. So I'm glad, hopefully, that they redid the rendering engine and that it fixes that just dog slow crap performance that it had. So I don't blame Microsoft for this. Again, this is a preview feature, right? They're changing the rendering engine. It's going to screw up some of your card visuals, right? Because of the way it renders, and some of them aren't going to render correctly the way you wanted them to, especially for smaller ones, apparently. But I don't blame Microsoft for this at all. This is the responsibility of the idiots that use preview features before they went to GA, and especially the so-called IT professionals that promote the use of preview features in enterprise solutions in production, right? That is a no-no. Don't do that. Okay. I mean, there's always some nuance here, right? If you want to use a preview feature like visual, like the on object formatting and that sort of stuff, I don't know why you would, because it's still terrible. It's better than what it was, but it's still terrible. But if you want to use that for authoring your reports, I don't see a big issue with that, right? But something that's going to be like in production in the enterprise and that users are going to be impacted by if it screws up, that's never a good idea. Okay, just not a good idea, in my opinion. And anybody that tells you that's a good idea, you should not listen to them, and you should treat them like they're a moron. My opinion. All right, so let's go ahead and okay. Now this one's interesting. So this is more of it's not so much news; it's just marketing drivel. Power BI semantic models as accelerators for AI-enabled consumption. So this is in the era of AI. This is how Microsoft thinks that Power BI is still relevant, and that it's the semantic model, and it's an accelerator for your AI-enabled consumption. Blah blah blah. There's a bunch of marketing blah crap in here, but the one that gets me is this one down here: commitment to open standards platform. They talk about Direct Lake and XML endpoints and all that stuff, but you do realize that you're talking about Power BI semantic modules, Vertipack engine, which is as proprietary as you are going to get. Okay, and they're like, so in an article where they're talking about how Power BI semantic models can, enable AI, they then go and say commitment to open. Well, fine, open up the platform, right? Make it an open standard. Make Vertipack an open standard, right? Why not do that, Microsoft? Right? You're committed. You're committed to open standards and platform, right? So why are you locking people in to your platform via the analytics engine, right? I don't know. The little hypocrisy type stuff and this stuff I always find interesting, right? But this is, again, I've actually mentioned this prior to this article coming out, is that this is Microsoft's plan to save and make Power BI relevant in the era of AI, is that they're going to pin it on the semantic model. I've said it before, and this article is just further evidence of that's what they're thinking, right? That was just I was going to talk about the lock-in, right? So everything goes through the semantic model, right? So like delta tables, that may be kind of open standard or whatever, and the analytics endpoint, the XMLA is an open standard to a proprietary engine, I guess you could say. But everything goes through the semantic model, and so there's your lock-in in the platform, right? And unless that is open standards and all of that, then this is all a bunch of noise, right? This commitment to open standards and platforms. They're not, right? If they were, they would adopt at scales like open standard semantic model, and they would, and that's what everybody would use, right? That way it's truly portable from one semantic model, one analytics engine to the next, right? But they're never going to do that because they're Microsoft. So that is all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, give me some feedback if you like going through the recent news from Microsoft. Maybe I can do this once a month or something like that. Keep everybody in the loop. All right. That's all I had for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.